welcome to our show today. This is our New Year's show for you to help you understand how to really do New Year's resolutions for this year, 2021. We want you to know that for some of you, you're going to have to call it a comeback, working your way back. Everybody wants to get back to normal, but we want you to get back to above normal. And Tony Robbins always says when you have a comeback, that's because you got knocked down or you're having a harder time. And so we want you to look at this as an opportunity for what's ahead. Because think about this. If you were reading a book, or going to a movie, and it opens with the main character having his or her life everything figured out. They are successful at home, they're successful at work, they're successful in their marriage, their friends, everything, even their spiritual life is spiritually mature. They never forget a birthday or anniversary or never forget to take the garbage out. Just think they have a perfect husband who does everything they need. At the middle of the story, well, nothing's changed, right? Because everything's perfect.
Right.
I can see you over there.
And so that would be, okay, everything's great yesterday, everything's great today, everything will be great tomorrow. So what's the exciting part of
Right,
that
they're
picture?
still perfect, which is why people have a hard time relating to perfect people. And so life is an unbroken string of successes in this movie. So at the end, you're the same as you were at the beginning. There's been no growth, no catharsis, no epiphany, no change, no challenge has been overcome, no fear has been stared down, and you're not victorious because you always were victorious. So nothing happens to make it a great ending. Nothing has been learned either because they know everything. So who is going to go to that movie? Who's going to read that book? Well, nobody. We as humans, we love comeback stories.
Right, challenge, meeting a challenge, overcoming, and so coming back, you bet.
So the greatest stories of all time are the comeback stories.
Rocky and stories like that.
Yeah, so
right?
if you see yourself kind of starting over because you've lost a lot, and actually in a lot of ways we are going through the stages of grief, which start out with shock, and then bargaining, and then sadness, depression.
Even some anger in there.
Anger, yes. And then, hopefully acceptance. But that's not where we want you to stop. Not just accept this new world. We want you to what? To overcome, to tackle it, to have a whole new life ahead of you so that you are victorious.
And for you to come back, if you've been blocked, if you've been stymied, if you've been down because of the way things have been for a year and a half, then there's a way to come back, and we want to talk about coming back today and how you do that. And we want that for you. And Anna and I have been talking about how we're going to do that, and a lot of it has to do with personal resolve, doesn't it?
Yes, and everyone is taken to their knees by something.
Yes.
And the real question of life is not where you are now, it's where are you going to go. It's, are you willing to create a vision larger than yourself? So you can create something even better than before. Can you imagine life even better than before COVID? Imagine that. So one of the things that we teach people with any kind of anxiety or fear or any problem that comes your way, we teach you to face it. It's a new challenge.
Right.
Overcome it. So find out the resolve for it. When we talk about resolution, we want you to resolve it. We want you to solve the problem of how to live life with these viruses going around. How to live life with these viruses in this new world. And of course, there's all this other stuff going on too, which, we don't want to stress anybody out about all the other things, right? But we are going to talk to you about how to overcome. So, Dr. Jim Slaughter is joining me today.
Hi, everybody. So good to be with you today and to talk about this subject. And it excites me because it has to do with my life personally and my relationships personally. And thinking about New Year's and what's ahead, often in the past, people have made resolutions, but the people that I talk to these days, have you made resolutions? Have you set goals? And I always ask my clients about that after the new year, and most of them say, no, haven't made any resolutions, I just tend to break them, and so they don't count for anything, they don't mean anything. And the reason they don't mean anything, and this is me to you guys, is that we don't actually resolve anything. And we talk about resolutions. If we're going to do that right, and if we're going to see change, it's going to have to be because of our resolve. And resolve means no going back.
No going back. Well, and otherwise it's more like just wishes. I wish I was skinny. I wish I was more in shape.
Well, it's like, and I know
Hoping.
I know you hate the word try, right? And so we take our cues even from Yoda here. You know, there is no try, there's only do.
I know where you were going, though. I can tell when I interrupted you. I thought, oh no, you were going to that. I could tell the military thing. What were you about to say? Because you were getting all worked up for that powerful.
Well, you know, the military people had put that resolve issue in different terms. One was, you know, we're gonna take this particular, let's say island. We're gonna take the island, and in order to do that, we're gonna burn the boats.
Well, somebody did that, didn't they? Burn the boats somewhere.
Yes, they did, and I was trying to think of that historically earlier. I couldn't come up with it, and somebody out there will probably know it. But another way to say it is, we burn the bridges. You know, we make it impossible for us to go back, and that's what resolve is. When you resolve a problem or an issue, that means it's over, it's done, you've done it, you're moving on. And so when we resolve to do something, it means there is no going back. We're not going to try, we are going to do it. And so our program today, a lot of it is about how to do that, how to follow through on resolve. And there's some ingredients to that follow through.
So you would say, take the island, burn the boats.
Burn the boats.
Right? Well, in a lot of ways, the life we knew before is gone. And then you came to this not really living, this kind of where we were settling in, trying to bargain, figure it out, anger, sadness, acceptance, right? So, but we want you to create a new world, a new you. So who do I need to be in this new world to be effective? What do I need to do in this new world to be effective? And how in the world do I add more value to my life in this new world?
Yeah, and those are good questions, you know. And so what we're talking about, we are really seeking in our own lives for it to be new, a new person. I want it to be a new me. Ann wants it to be a new Ann. We want it to be a new you. And there's a way to do that. You create, in a sense, your own world, don't you? It doesn't mean there aren't things that you can't control, but I'd say all of us can control much, much more of ourselves and our world than we actually do.
So you're talking mindset now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it starts there, doesn't it? And there are different ingredients to it, as we said before, but mindset is such a huge part of it. What I honestly, what I think is what happens.
Yes,
often,
so
right?
your mindset. Now we're going to make it a little easy for you today. We're going to go ahead and tell you the 3 things about mindset, okay? There are 3 things we're going to go over. Focusing on what you can control, not what you can't control. And then being grateful what you have and who you are. And then the third one is focusing on the present.
Right, and all of those, we could do a whole show on each one of them because each one of them is so significant in how we live, the success in our lives, how we feel, how we do, all of that. And, you know, often, especially now, I think, we often tend to focus on the negative things, the bad things, how bad things are. But you know, what we can't control often is what we mostly fear and where we go with our thoughts, rather than thinking about what part of that I can control. So there's a can-do, positive mentality that has to do with mindset. And so we're going to want to focus on that a little bit too today.
Well, and focusing on what you can control, because that's really all you can control. That's all you can. What you focus on gets better when you focus on it. And so that's why it's important, instead of focusing on what's outside of you, the world, the politics, everything going on that you don't have control over, focusing on what you can do. And that's how you put action steps together for strategy. But the mindset of, I'm going to focus on what I can do, not what I can't. If you focus on what you can't do, you get angry, you get frustrated, you get overwhelmed, anxious, sad, all those things. But if you focus on what you can do, you get energy, you get power.
Yeah, it's really energizing. It's strengthening. And, you know, we often tend to have, that mindset which causes us to focus on what we're missing, which is similar to what we said a minute ago.
Instead of being grateful for what we have.
Yeah, instead of focusing on what we have.
Yes,
and so one of the important parts of a positive, productive, strengthening mindset is to begin focusing on what I have and generating gratitude in my heart, gratitude to God and what I have, gratitude that I have my children, my friends, my home, whatever it is.
Your health.
Yeah, absolutely, your health. And so, focusing on that. In fact, often we think it through every day, and we call them wins. Some people say blessings. There are different things to call it, right? But that's very important every day to think about what I'm grateful for and what I have, not just what I don't have.
Well, and part of it is that if you focus on what's missing, there's never, ever enough. You always feel empty.
Well, isn't that the truth? We always feel like we don't have enough when we're thinking about what we need.
And that's why people who focus on that, that there's never enough. If they focus on what's missing, they always want more and more and more and more, and it's never enough. So you can kind of see that in the makeup. But if you focus on what you have and being grateful for it, again, you get energy and you get motivated.
Well, yes, you do. In fact, we might even want to talk a little bit about visualization. Okay, I see where you're from. This is, taking a power posture.
Yes.
And there is a lot of truth to that.
That's for mindset. So, because it does. I mean, focusing on what you can do, focusing on who you are and what you have. You can do these power poses and just how you move your body, like putting your hands up in the air or putting your hands on your hips and having what does Jordan Peterson say? Don't be pathetic. Put your shoulders back, lift your head up, because it gives you all this energy and it gets adrenaline flowing, and testosterone is what Tony Robbins says. It actually causes testosterone to flow, so you feel more powerful just by how you hold yourself.
You feel more self-confident too.
Yeah.
You feel like I look better, I feel better.
Yes.
And, I believe each one of us should get in the habit of doing that every single day. I want to walk tall, stand tall, look good, and hold my shoulders back. And that's a power pose.
Well, so when we talk about now strategy, right? So strategy, one of the strategies is putting together, some people call them rituals.
Yes.
And other people call them habits, strategies, right? So if you think of it, you've got to put together a strategy to take on this world. And power poses is one of them, right? So part of what we want you to understand is how you feel determines what you do, but also what you do determines how you feel.
Yeah, it's reciprocal.
It
goes
is
both
weird.
ways, doesn't it? Yeah.
So a simple thing would be if you're losing weight, you feel energetic, you feel excited, and yet it's something that you're doing, not something that you're feeling. So you're doing something to feel something, right? So what Tony Robbins does, his morning ritual, he gets up and he jumps in. Well, first he meditates. And then he does some breathing exercises. Then he works out for like 10 minutes, this crazy workout. Then he jumps in this cold water and he gets out and gets in this warm sauna. Now, why does he do it? He hates jumping in the cold water. He doesn't like it. I don't know anyone who loves, well, maybe Wim Hof. I don't know. But they do it because they know that it helps them every day be successful. And they feel better after.
It's invigorating.
It's invigorating. I don't like cold water, but I'm going to try it now after hearing all these people. And so facing it, doing some simple things, get up, get you something, like an energy drink. That's what he does first. He gets an energy drink, and you can have a nice thing to drink and then go get on the treadmill or anything like that. Putting those habits together. And there's other habits we're going to go through so that you can get a really cool strategy. You come up with your own too. But the important thing is putting a strategy to the mindset. But first, think about your mindset. So when we get back, we're going to give you more about mindset and strategy so that you can be successful and build this new you for the new year in the new world.
Right.
Stay right here.
Okay. You gonna go to strategy now? Talk a little bit more about that, or what?
Well, what do you think? I mean, should we talk more about mindset, or you want to go straight to? We can go to strategy. Yeah.
Well, what else would you like to say about? We haven't talked about seeing ourselves as successful and, visualizing.
Yeah, let's go
ourselves.
back. That's what I was saying. I knew there was more.
I think that's really
Mindset.
important. Don't even give yourself the opportunity to
Yeah.
consider that you might not meet this goal,
Yes.
or complete the resolution or follow through on it or something.
Right.
You don't even want to think about that. And so a lot of that has to do with the power of positive thinking, as Norman Vincent Peale would put it, right?
Yes, actually, yes. So, yeah, we haven't finished mindset. I think that mindset, getting your mind right, is the key to being able to, but doing it every day. Getting your mindset right.
Yeah, there's a consistency that helps you follow through and do
Yeah.
it. And you get that, that's a part of your mindset, being consistent, faithful, all that. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and I know that Tony, he feels like that he has to do it every day,
Uh-huh.
to get his mind straight so that he can follow through on the habits every day. So that's why he starts with, but that mindset isn't just, you're not just doing it emotionally, mentally, you're also doing it physically.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's important for us to talk about those two together.
Okay.
Now,
let's do
some
that.
people probably can't do the physical, right?
Maybe some people can't do any physical thing. I think most people can do something physical.
So the
even if it's
breathing, the
this,
meditation.
with one arm or
So
something.
what he was talking about, the breathing,
Yeah.
the breathing,
Uh-huh.
and then meditation.
Mhm.
So thinking about, I guess meditating is just the deep breathing for 30 seconds. I'm going to think this
Well, and
through.
it's focusing on something to relax yourself, But then he has a really hard workout, too, that follows that.
Yeah.
So he combines a lot of elements, together.
Yes. Okay.
And we've done that too. And I could talk about how it makes me, how I feel when I'm in really good shape, and when I'm working out on a regular basis, and how good that makes me feel, and how energetic I am, and how much better I feel about myself. Anyway, yeah.
Well, when he's meditating, he thinks about gratefulness.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks about sending out, good things from him. Like he sends out energy. That's what he does. He sends out energy to all the people that he loves. Like all the people that he cares about, right?
Mm-hmm.
He sees himself, like, I don't know how he does that, but it was seeing yourself giving to the ones you love or something like that. And then,
Yes.
then in his meditating near the end, he goes over the 3 things he wants to accomplish.
That day. You want to start there?
Mindset is very important. We were talking on the break about being able to follow through on your habits. That's why mindset is so important. And that's why getting your mind set every day, at the beginning of the day. So Tony Robbins says he does it all. First thing, he calls it conquering his day early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard that that's what Jordan Peterson, a lot of them do. They all get up at different times. But the goal is to conquer your day first thing. And so he puts these habits in so that the rest of his day will be successful.
Right, because what you do at the very beginning really sets the tone and the direction for your whole day. And there are certain things that we do almost always at the beginning of the day,
Right.
and they have to do with preparing us and our heads and getting things ready to go. But just having thought our way through this, I think I'm ready to begin doing some other things at the beginning of my day, and you've talked about that too.
Well, yes, I think that it's very important to understand both physically and emotionally getting your body as a whole set, right? Not just your mind, but your mindset is everything that you do that helps you have your mindset. But it doesn't mean that you only do mental things.
Right, not just developing mental skills. There are other things that we want to do that are a part of the combination of all this. And I was thinking that, you and I talked about a couple of different things, getting our bodies healthy and strong. And part of that has to do with working it out. There's no doubt about it. You can't replace that with much of anything. And then also supplementing well and making sure that your immune system is strong, the things that you're taking into your body are helpful and strengthening you and helping you stay well.
Okay, so if we start off with, which one of those do you want to start off with?
Well, let me just share from my own.
ran through a bunch of stuff.
I know. Let me share from my own life, though. Okay, and anybody who has experienced this knows it's true. The time that I felt the very best in my life was when I had a routine of working out. I worked out actually at least 5 days a week. I'd lift weights 3 days a week, run every other day, and that kind of thing. And I began to bounce out of bed at 5 in the morning, and I'd never done that before in my life, and ready to go and feeling really good. And I attribute that to those workouts. And the thing is, though, that those workouts gave me such a positive spirit about myself. I felt good about myself. And
so that's an example of doing something to feel something.
yes, to create emotional strength, I guess, at the same time.
Well, and that's why habits are so important, to change the way you feel, right? So people say, I don't feel like going to work out or whatever. Okay, so by starting off with the deep breathing, maybe doing 30 deep breaths, okay? You can meditate while you're deep breathing, meaning just think deeply as you're breathing, just keep quiet, listening to your breathing,
Right.
do some slow deep breaths, because breathing really does strengthen your lungs. It gives you the ability to endure more cardio down the line, but it also kind of sets you to where you feel better. So it is a physical thing, even if you're not working out yet, right. Of any kind. And so breathing, meditating, yoga, people can do a simple thing of some movements. So you can go and look up some basic yoga techniques, right? Or even just some movements like Falun Gong, which we've done a show on that.
Right.
And what Tony does is he just puts his hands in the air and he breathes in as his hands go up, and then he pulls them down as he takes his breath out. And he does that 30 times. And so it's with his hands, right? So it kind of goes fast when he brings them down. And so he does that 30 times. So that's something that you could do, but definitely doing something physical as well.
Right, and there's so many options that you have. You don't have to go to the gym to do physical stuff, right?
No.
And there's so many opportunities and devices that we can use at home, if we need to do that. And of course, things right now are different. I think things are going to change drastically when it comes to getting out and being with other people and doing things before too long. And so we're looking to create our part of that new world, and we believe that everybody out there who's listening can certainly do that.
So 3 things first. When you get up, you could do breathing, 30 deep breaths with your hands up in the air and pull them down, or you can just do the breathing 30 deep breaths. And while you're doing that, you can kind of be meditating. But then once you do your breaths, when I say meditate, you can think about what you're grateful for. You can really focus on today, okay, not the past, not the future. And then you can think about, the people you love or whatever, or you can really end with, what are the 3 things you want to accomplish today, too, okay?
Right.
So those are some good habits you could put in. Now, if you want to get mixed in there, 10 minutes of exercise, 20 minutes of exercise, or something like that, that's great. If you want to put food in there, because I know that some people having free-range eggs with coconut bread, something like that. That's a cool thing.
See, that sounds really good to me. We just heard about that recently.
Coconut bread.
I could live on that.
Yeah, first thing in the morning and having a routine. So the routine for me of the last year, and I started September of 2019 with a set routine every morning early, and I love it. So try it, guys.
Yep.
We'll see you right back here for other strategies to make you have a wonderful year. Okay, so I want you, now you can see how we can see you right here?
Yeah.
Because you were hidden a little bit, so I want, and I don't know, would it be scooting this way or scooting that way?
Who, for me?
Scooting that way a little bit.
Yeah.
So where you be in the camp. Nope, scoot this way.
Oh, okay, I couldn't tell.
It's delayed. Come this way a little bit. Come this way. Go the other way. I'm trying to figure out how. Oh, okay. So it's mine. All right. So if you can, I just want you to be able to see yourself right here, right?
I can.
No, I mean there. I want people to be able to see you.
Oh,
Is what
okay.
I mean. So that you're in the picture better.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, great. Awesome. All
I
right.
didn't mention, well, maybe we did a little bit of visualization and seeing ourselves as following through on the resolutions. And of course, we can, now if we're going to talk more about strategy, we can do that, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
Talk about visualizing ourselves being successful and following through and the strategies. I like the term ritual. I mean, habit is good, but sometimes we think just like not following through on resolutions, breaking resolutions, think about breaking habits too, you know. But anyway, I like the idea of that.
I think finding meaning, you know, like I think finding the meaning in all this is very important.
You know,
your mindset of what it means.
Do you want to
to
mention Viktor Frankl in his book? And
Oh,
he was a
what's the name of
Holocaust survivor, and he was in a concentration camp, and watching people die all around him, you know. And he lived through it, and he attributed that to a sense of inner strength and commitment that he grew sort of himself, you know.
Because of what he could do for others there. That's right. How
And
he could serve
he was
others.
serving other people
Oh.
there. And so,
And so he found purpose in that.
living is giving.
Is that what he said?
That's what Tony said.
Well, that's what
You know,
Tony said.
we like him because Tony Robbins, because he's just maybe the best there is about this right now, and or at least one of the best, and it's can be such a good mentor. So we learn as much as we can, you know.
Yes. So finding purpose. Yeah, they said like 80% of the people died and the 20% that survived. Do you remember the percentage? Because I don't know what it was.
No, when he was talking about Frankl, you mean?
Viktor Frankl, how many people, I mean, a lot of people died. Did most people die?
Oh,
Yeah.
the vast majority.
I was trying to figure
yeah.
out, I was trying to remember how many. Was it 80% died and the 20% that survived, it was because of the meaning they attributed to what was happening to them?
Mm-hmm. I don't remember the statistics exactly, though.
Because I think for you and I, that's really what we do. You know, like we look because of this. We're kind of ahead of the curve because of what we do in our business, right?
Yeah.
And so every day we're thinking more about how we're going to help our clients, right? Making the world a better place for them. So it's like we have this kind of other-centered focus of purpose.
It does help, you know, to have that. But you don't have to have it a part of your work in order to do it. But you have to think about it, and it has to be purposeful. You know, who can I serve today? You know, and what would that look like? Everybody's gifted in some way. You know?
Oh, she's done this. I was just hearing that Dale Walmsley commercial, and I heard about momentum. He said it's a lot easier to keep momentum going than to start over after you stop.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
it made me think of what Elon Musk says about rockets. It takes a lot more propulsion and energy to take off the rocket, but once they get out into the atmosphere, they're going so hard they don't have to do too much, right?
Right, gravity's pulling down that rocket, but once it leaves the gravitational pull, you know, the earth, then there's nothing to keep it from.
Is that the only reason? It's not just because it keeps going? Like it's going and you have this thrust to get you going, and then after that you have to maintain, but you don't have to have a big thrust at the beginning. That's what I was thinking.
Well, mainly, yeah. I mean, once you get out of the range of the gravitational pull and everything, it's just a matter of which direction you want to go. And
Yeah, but you're not
how much
understanding what
further
I'm
do you
saying.
go?
I'm not talking about the gravitational pull. I'm trying to make it like, see, once if these habits, you get them going. It's hard to start your habits, as you call rituals, right? Get them going, and after a while, just to maintain it is nowhere near as hard as starting.
Right.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that.
It's not like they're going to have gravitational pull behind them, but maybe.
Well, people have their own kind of gravitational pull that keeps them down, you know.
Yes. So let's talk a little bit about that because meaning. Okay, let's talk about meaning. So when you think of mindset, we were talking on break about having what does all this, when we talk about focusing on do you focus on the past, do you focus on the present, or do you focus on the future? We really want you to focus on the present, to have a healthy mindset. But also, when you're focusing on the present and this new world, this new kind of world with the viruses and the politics and everything, just the way it is, what meaning are you giving that? Because the meaning that you attribute to that, basically how you see it and what it means to you, means a lot. It really does when it comes to mindset.
Yeah, it does. And so we're interpreting what happens to us and what's going on around us all the time. Some years back, I read a book by a guy named Viktor Frankl. Many people will recognize that name. He wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. An interesting thing about Viktor Frankl is that he was a concentration camp survivor. And he says that the only thing that really kept him alive and the other people alive in the midst of all that carnage and that kind of thing is the fact that he found meaning from serving other people, helping the people around him, the other prisoners. He worked to keep them as comfortable as alive as possible, and as many people. He found meaning in service. He found meaning. Actually, there was a part of him also. Another thing was that he found meaning within himself, and he was grateful to be alive. He was grateful to God. He was grateful to have people to minister to. And so, some of the most basic things when it came to being grateful, he was grateful for basic things that basically kept him alive during this time.
Well, and it's interesting that 80% of the people didn't make it, and they say the difference is the way those 20% saw things.
Mm-hmm.
And the meaning was basically serving others, trying to be there for everyone else.
Yeah, in that situation, there was little left of them, and they could focus on others and seek to meet needs out there. And you find meaning in that. And one guy said, living is giving, in a way. The meaning of life really has to do with giving yourself away. And so I think that's where he found the meaning in that concentration camp where people were dying all around him.
And don't you think that's really the key to success in a lot of ways? These things about mindset, that serving others, what you can do for others, what you can do for the world. I mean, every time I hear a success seminar, or these really successful people, or financial success, or business success, or I hear it over and over and over. Even Zig Ziglar, help people get what they want, and you will get what you want, because
Right.
you're helping other people get what they want.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting way he put it.
Yeah.
To get what you want, you do that by giving others what they want. And all of us have skills of one kind or another. We all have gifts and talents. Some of us don't recognize those gifts and talents we have. But, if we assess that and we begin to realize that, I have a lot to give.
Yes.
And to begin giving to the people around us, even if it's the person next door, there's life in that. And so that's what kept Viktor Frankl alive in that concentration camp, that prison camp.
Yes, and I think that even Tony Robbins, when all the COVID stuff hit and everything started closing, he was trying to figure out, how can I solve this problem? I can't do my big seminars to reach out and help people he was seeing like 25,000 people at the same time, 10,000 people. But with everything closing, he wasn't going to be able to do that. And his view was, how can I reach out to these people? How can I get to these people? And he thought movie theaters, he thought churches, but they all started closing, right? And so he thought, okay, I can figure this out. How can I solve this problem? So he started looking at Zoom, but Zoom was only 1,000 people. And then he contacted Zoom to try to tell him I need 25,000 people, right? And so he came up with all the, he tried different things that didn't work, and finally he said, I'm going to figure it out. And that's what we really encourage you guys to do, is to figure it out. Whatever it is you can do to solve your problem about what you really want. Don't just say all the medical, whatever certain people tell us is just stay home, right? Like, it's just give up, just go sit home, just sit in your living room, don't do anything.
Stay home and
Stay home, and then cover up,
No.
and maybe you won't catch it. Right? And that is no strategy for success and for
Right.
health and wealth and living, and you just go home and sit and then eventually die. Oh, what kind of strategy is that? That's crazy. So, certainly with all these genius minds out there, you can come up with some really good solutions of how to live a good quality of life. And it kind of depends on the person. Some people can live and be home and be really happy and be okay, right?
Yes.
But other people go crazy that way. So part of it is whatever your problem is, we want you to want to attack it and create your new life in this new world.
Right. But even being at home, which is okay
Yeah.
if that's necessary for you, being at home, you still have things that you can control about yourself and your
Yes.
environment. Okay, you can work on your physical self, you can work on your mental self, your emotional self, your spiritual self, which is something we haven't talked about
Spiritual
today,
self, yes.
particularly. That when we're close to the Lord, there are some promises in the Scripture that says He will protect us. He will give us grace and mercy, and so from our perspective, and we do this every single day. We look to the Lord for grace during that day to be safe, to be well, and to know what to do next.
Yes, because he tells us he will protect us, but he wants us to live a certain way, and he will protect us. It says he will give us the desires of our heart, that he will command his angels concerning us to guard us in all our ways. So basically he says, if you will do these things, he will do his part to protect us. So part of it is that thinking about what you're putting your faith in. If you put your faith in masks, hand sanitizers, supplements, distance. Part of it is also what else, right? But one of the things that when you were talking about meaning of life, I want to go back to that, because you get people who want to be successful, they want to make more money, they want to be famous, whatever it is, right?
Right.
And then the more they get there, especially famous people, they don't like it because they don't like the way people are treating them. They don't even care about me. They're just trying to get my autograph. They just want from me, take from me. And so part of it is thinking about how you get where you want to go, right? Developing relationships. If you develop relationships and you give to others, by the time you get there, you're fulfilled. And so it's not getting there, it's the journey to get there, that when you get there, if you will enjoy it or not. Right? So most people get there and they don't enjoy it. They're not any happier because they have more stuff and or more fame or any of that. And so the meaning that you attribute to life, to give to others, to serve others, living is giving,
Living is giving, and to be the best that you can be.
Yes.
And so that takes a strategy. And so we're talking about that. We're talking about a strategy. Part of it is giving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Part of it is trusting the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And there are other steps that we take.
And Zig Ziglar, his birthday, I think it was his 80th birthday, was incredible, right? Because all the people that were there. Tony Robbins, his 60th birthday, it wasn't very long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an incredible party with all the people there. I mean, it was amazing, right? He just cried. I mean, it was so great. And so that's how you want to get there, right? And so attributing what you attribute meaning to all of this. What is your role in this? If you think this is a bad thing, okay? I mean, I know there are bad things happening all the time. But you had bad things happening before this. I mean, you had stress before this. You had anxiety before this. You had things you didn't like every day in your life, right? And so things come, tragedies come, hardship comes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a mindset strategy and a ritual strategy for habits that you do every day, you can take on this stuff and it doesn't affect you anywhere near as much, because your daily life is very much the same I mean, I think our daily life is very much the same that it's always been, really. As far, I mean, with some of the things we do them a little differently. But with our habits and our rituals and everything in place and our mindset, we tackle every day the same.
Yeah, and we work on our mindset every single day.
Yes.
And we count our wins, which are blessings that have come to us, our gratitudes and all that. And honestly, boy, it changes your mind. It changes your mindset. So that the following day, you just look for the blessings. You look for the wins. You look for things that you're thankful for. And they don't have to be monumental things like a huge check in the mail or something like that. We're talking about, I'm grateful for my wife. I'm great. Yeah, that would be nice. But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my kids. I want them to know that I love them, and I'm passing that love on in any way I can. And that kind of thing. I'm glad to have a house. I'm glad to have a car that starts in the morning,
yes.
if that's the case.
And that our animals are well. I mean, we had 3 deaths in our family over the last year. And, for us, in the midst of it all, this past Christmas, everything changed because our daughter fell. And it was a very dangerous thing and horrible thing that happened to her. And we all changed from mourning about missing people to this gratefulness that she was okay. I mean, she was hurt, okay? And she had to have emergency surgery and everything, but thank God she was okay and somebody was there so she didn't bleed out and all this kind of stuff. I mean, we were just so grateful to not, that God did not take her, that we have her there, right? That we had our family, that we were all together, and Christmas was weird, but we were just so grateful she was alive. It just really changed our whole attitude about Christmas. It went from things to family. Don't you think?
Oh yeah, absolutely, and we just reflected on the Grinch stuff. Christmas doesn't come in boxes with bows and packages and all that. Christmas is a little bit more.
We had a Christmas of love. We were so not prepared for Christmas, but it was just a different thing. And talk about putting meaning, changing the meaning. I mean, it was a drastic change in our minds from the meaning of Christmas versus the meaning of Christmas, right? And the gratefulness to end out the year. And to just go into the new year like, hey, you know what? We can do this. We can overcome. We can create the new us in this year. And we're very excited about 2021. A lot of people, they haven't even set New Year's resolutions this year because there's no excitement there. There's no motivation. It's just like, oh my gosh, that was a horrible year. And they're still kind of in that grief, sadness, overwhelming kind of, they're not really to acceptance, or if they're at acceptance, they're just finally at acceptance.
A lot of people are just kind of catching their breath.
Yeah, yes, that would be a good way of saying it.
Trying to get their breath back after that year.
Yeah.
So
let's just recap a little bit. So we talked about the important things for setting your New Year's resolutions as rituals, as habits, as make it goals. You can call them resolutions, but make sure it's your goals. It's not just wishes, but that you put habits and rituals to that.
And
so
that you burn your boats.
Yeah, burn your boats so you can take the island, right? So that means really hit it hard, breathing, meditating, being. So what are the 3 things? Focus on what you can control, not what you can't. Focus on what you have, not what is missing. Be grateful. And the meaning that you put towards what your meaning in life is, to serve others and be there for others.
Right.
Okay, am I missing anything?
Now, I think those are 3 of the things that we talked about, and then the mindset and strategies, are
that's all mindset, right?
Yeah.
And focus on the present, today. Focus on today, not yesterday. You can't control what happened yesterday.
I've discovered that most of the people I run into either are feeling guilty from the past, fear of the future, but few people are in the present.
Well, and by focusing on today and getting your mindset strategy, your rituals to meet your goals, you will be able to anticipate tomorrow. You will be able to endure tomorrow. You will get through it, and you don't need to be afraid of it. It'll remove fear. So we have some strategies for spiritual mindset as well. So we'll do those in the last 5 minutes. Come right back here and we'll finish up.
Okay. See you then. You did the same thing about the time change at all?
I don't know.
I know. Chris would know.
Sunday. That's all we know. I guess he forgot.
Maybe he thought we knew what time of day and everything.
Okay. We can only assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what to think.
Well, that's what Janet said it would probably would be, but we don't know.
Oh, it says tomorrow. I didn't get it. I didn't read it well enough. He said, can you do the live show tomorrow? That was on Thursday. I didn't get that. All right. Okay. All right. No. So he was going to do a promotion for the new show. But I didn't read it well enough. But okay, so we'll do that this week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all we can do is what we can do.
When he said live, can you do it live tomorrow? Live, I usually think means live, not recorded. But what he really meant is, can you record tomorrow? And so I for the live show. And so I just saw, can you do it live? That's all I saw. So, okay. All right. So we're going to bring it up. We're going to talk about winter, emotional health, financial.
You said you were going to do spiritual stuff.
Yeah, so spring is coming. That's basically what I want to say. So it's winter.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Spring is coming, right?
Yeah, I like
And we all need to get back out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's sunny today.
Yeah, that helps.
Okay.
Huh.
Welcome back. We just want to also let you know that our show is going to be moving to Sunday, and we look forward to that. In the meantime, okay, guys, it's winter, and we all need spring to come, right? Winter, the hard thing about winter with all this going on as well is the days are shorter. So I had somebody tell me they get 8,000 to 12,000 steps a day, and they only get like 4,000 now because there's hardly any daytime. And then when it is daytime, it's cold and it's ugly and they don't want to get out. And so just know that spring is coming. The days are going to get longer. The sun is going to be out. Okay?
The sun will come out tomorrow.
The sun will come out. The sun will come out tomorrow. Okay, so your emotional health, your physical health, your financial health is all going to spring back. Right?
Yes, it is.
And so just put your shoulders back, lift your head up, as Jordan Peterson says in the 12 Rules of Life.
And don't be pathetic.
This is rule number 1, body pose. Head up, shoulders back, stand up straight. Good is coming.
Yes.
Okay, so the spiritual side of mindset, you know, we talked about turning to the Lord every day. I get up early, and we have learned from a lot of other people that we learn from all the time when we interview people, based on their success and their mindset and their ability to do such wonderful things in the midst of craziness and hardship and all that. We have watched them endure, and what they do is they read the Psalms every day. And so I wrote down, learning from them, every psalm that they read, and it is Psalm 23, Psalm 25, Psalm 28, Psalm 34, Psalm 37, and Psalm 91.
Right.
And so why those psalms? Because they cover every area of your life. And your anxiety goes away when you read them, because it tells you strategies. It also tells you what's to come and what's going to happen and how God protects you. But it also talks about, honestly, revenge for your enemies. How God takes revenge. Let him take revenge. I mean, there's just lots of things. And how you can watch with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. Like, how could you not like that? Right? It just feels so good. It's like, yeah, they're going to be punished, right? And so basically what it says is have peace, do well in the land, relax, basically, and just go forward in how to do that. So there's so many great things about these Psalms. And when you're praying them, you're praying for other people too. You're reading through them. It really covers all area of prayer and protection and life, and there's just so many things about that. And people say after doing that, their prayers are answered a lot more than ever before.
Yeah, I've heard that as well. I was thinking about the opening verse of Psalm 91. He who dwells in the shadow of the Almighty will what? Rest in the he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High, which means being with the Lord, he's with the Lord, will rest in the shadow of the Almighty.
Yes.
And so, accompanied with dwelling with the Lord is resting. He gives us rest. And so, the rest of that psalm is mainly promises that God gives us, that he will help us rest, protect us, keep us well, and that he will watch over us. Psalm 23 portrays the Lord as a shepherd who cares for us and leads us in good places, provides for us.
Well, and that's putting your faith in something bigger than you, to handle things that are bigger than you, that you have no control over. And if you just put your faith in smaller things like mask and hand sanitizer and social distancing, you're going to be freaked out and scared, because that's not enough, right? Like we build our immune system every day, so we want to let you know that we take 30,000 of vitamin D, we take 225 of zinc, and then we have 2 oranges a day for vitamin C. You can take vitamin C. The best way to get vitamin C is naturally. But so that we boost our immune system as much as we can, so that we are protected as much as we can when we go out. And the experts that you hear about what to do, what not to do, if you actually listen to naturopathic doctors, if you listen to virus experts and disease experts about immunity, we've been doing this for a long time because of flu. Running our practice, our health practice, we see people all the time and we don't want to get sick. And we haven't wanted to get sick for years, because even with the flu, we're out for a week or two, and to me, it's really in a lot of ways worse. But, you just want to build your immune system. You want to build your mindset. You want to build your strategies and your rituals to have a successful life day to day, focusing on the present, focusing on what you're grateful for, and focusing on what you can control. And most of all, guys, meaning. Put meaning in your life by giving to others, serving others. Look at what you can do this week for others. To start your New Year's, what can you do for others? And keeping yourself healthy and well so that you can do really well for others. So,
writing down gratitudes.
And we are going to keep talking about these to help you this year, this new year, for your New Year resolution to make a new, wonderful you. Have a great week.
And keep getting better. I think I missed that.
No, you didn't. You didn't. Awesome.
Well, I hope that meant something to people.
I'm so confused. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great week, and work on your resolutions, your rituals, and your habits, and your mindset.
Yep. Write down gratitudes and think about who you can help and who you can love. Yep.
Take care.